So what is it to give? Est-ce qu'elle veut? To give. I think the greatest gift that you can ever give anyone, to give society, to give anything, is to give yourself back to this moment, is give everything back. Your life, your ideas, your wants, your needs, your desires, your plans, your possessions, everything back to what's currently happening. And I think this is the greatest gift that any human can give any other human or can do, is to give everything back. Now what does that mean, to give everything back? Well, right now, all there is this moment, is what's happening. Right here, right now. This intimacy. There's your bum on the seat. There's the sound of your heartbeat. There's the visions. There's the emotions. There's the sounds. There's what is. And what is free. It's what is. It's what's happening. Right now, where's your problems? Where's yourself? Where's your idea of future? Where's your longings? Where's your needs? Where's what has or hasn't happened? Where's blame? There is simply what is. And it's empty. And it's full at the same time. It's empty of anybody here. You even give yourself back. Who is there right here? Who is there right now? What if you can only exist when you think about yourself, when you have an idea about yourself, when you have an idea about your future, about where you're going, about what you're going to do? But right here is empty of it all. and this is your home. This is your base. This is what's always happening. This is where everything becomes wiped clean. In this moment, in this instant. So you might be thinking you don't like this moment, you want this moment to be another way. But the reason that you don't like this moment and you want it to be another way is because you exist in time. You have an idea of yourself and you have an idea of what life should be. And through many years of practicing that mentality, your body has become tight and contracted and comfortable. And so you keep seeking in the thought land, in imagination, to try to free yourself. So this energy is always trying to seek for something else that might or might not come. And there's a restlessness. The chakras become uncomfortable, the emotional body becomes uncomfortable, and then the thinking, imagining energy keeps focusing on getting something better or different in the future, or trying to change something that's happened in the past. So giving is giving yourself back to this moment. Like, what do you have here? You're totally naked and vulnerable and totally present to whatever feeling or emotion is appearing in the body. Totally naked to it. And then you really own your emotions, you really own your feelings. So when you feel anger, it's full anger. You're not imagining a way to get out of it. You're not imagining an object that is to blame for your anger. It's full anger. And you're sad, it's full sadness. And you're happy, it's full happiness. Totally innocent and mysterious. Right here. Right here. Right now. Boop boop. Boop boop. Boop boop. I think my webcam is slightly dirty. I can see that things are a bit blurry. Yeah, that's better. It was a little blurry. It got a little dusty. That's much better. Yeah, you see, this was all like glistening before. So on the human level, what you need to do is firstly understand that the human doesn't have free will and choice. The human cannot follow a prescription, but it doesn't have the ability to act independently. It can't listen to what I say and choose to act. It either does act or doesn't act. So by me speaking and there being listening, there can be an updating of that machine, but that machine doesn't actually have free will or choice. And the reason that's important is because as you begin to collapse back into this moment, you begin to see that everything is spontaneously arising from this moment, not from the past. And there begins to be a trust more in what's actually happening, rather than the past and the future. Most people think that your choices are coming from time, that you are moving through time, you're in relationship with a separate world, and your choices are coming from that time. But actually choices are always spontaneously arising here, like everything else. And even though we use our mind and our intellect to update us about those choices, we still have to see clearly that they're spontaneously arising from this mystery. Like there's a collapsing back into that mystery. We see that they're not coming from a separate entity that has the weight of the world on its shoulder because it has to make the right choice. Choice is happening. It doesn't mean that there's not the appearance of choice. There is the appearance that a body chooses, and we update that body and that machinery, and through updating it, it changes its actions. But that isn't independent of anything. Free will and choice implies independence, that there's something that's separate from something else, making a choice. that all of this universe isn't one energy creating, that it's separate beings all coming together in a cluster, kind of having a bit of a cluster muddle. But actually, it's one energy expressing itself in multiple ways. That might seem like a really abstract idea to get to. So one way that you can do it is by looking at things very organically. Like if you begin to look at nature or you look at the environment, you begin to notice that everything is transforming constantly into another thing. So this body didn't appear out of thin air. It grew from my mother as she ate food. She had the ability to grow me. Like a tree doesn't grow out of thin air. It takes the nutrients from the soil and the sunlight and takes the water and grows from that. So everything, you could say, is connected. Everything is the same and everything is one energy transforming itself. If you begin to break down all the forms and what matter is, you begin to see that matter is actually made of the same, and that these same atoms and quarks and molecules are moving, and as they move in different formations, they create the appearance of different objects. But when you break it down, it's all made from the same. And when you get to the smallest particle, which I think is a quark, inside it there is nothing to be found. It's mystery as to where that quark comes from. You see, if it was a separate and independent world, we wouldn't need other objects in order to change and to move. Like, notice that everything is dependent on everything else. In order for a tree to grow, it's dependent on everything else. In order for me to think and function, it's dependent on the environment. And as you begin to realize that, you begin to see that this is one energy expressing itself. But the most important thing is to see that this energy is only expressing now, and that time arises now, and it appears in time. This dream is appearing in a time and chronological and logical, but it's not actually appearing that way. It's all spontaneously appearing now from mystery. The reason that's important is because there needs to be a collapsing back into what's actually happening, into this moment, rather than always living in this timeline and this removal, believing that you're coming from the past, you're moving to the future, and you're in relationship with a separate world. You're not in relationship with anything. You are, this is, and all of this is your dream as that whole presence.